We are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we started 5th chapter. I read the translation of the first verse. Arjuna said, O Krishna, thou hast at one time praised karma sannyas, and at another time thou hast asked me to follow nishkama karma yoga. Now tell me, please, plainly, which of these two paths is better for me? Explanation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, at one time thou hast praised karma sannyas, means renunciation of fruitive actions, by the practice of nishkama karma yoga, and at another time thou hast asked me to follow nishkama karma yoga by destroying all doubts and skepticism with the sword of transcendental knowledge. Now tell me plainly, O Krishna, which of these two paths is better for me? By karma sannyas, I mean abandonment of all fruitive actions, and by karma yoga, I mean performance of duties, dedicating the fruits thereof to the Supreme Lord. Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Sanyasa karma yogascha nishreyasaya karau ubho tayostu karma sanyasat karma yoga vishishyate. The Supreme Lord replied, both karma sannyas and karma yoga are beneficial for mankind. But of the two, nishkama karma yoga, the principle of desireless action, is better than karma sannyas or karma tyag. Explanation. Karma sannyas means action with abandonment of attachment for the fruits thereof. So karma tyag or abandonment of action is not the purport of shloka 41 chapter 4 as spoken by me. As a matter of fact, karma sannyas and karma yoga mean almost the same thing. Yes, karma sannyas does not mean giving up, does not mean karma tyag. Someone may misunderstand it. Now Krishna will tell that karma sannyas and karma yoga mean almost the same thing. Gyeyah sanitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. He who has neither love nor hatred for the fruits of his actions and is steady and free from the pairs of opposites of the relative world is a real karma sannyasins, and he, having given up all, is easily released from all bonds of action. Now in fourth one it will be more. Shankya yoga pritang balach pravadantina panditaha ekamapya stitach samyak ubhayar vindate phalam. Let me now tell you the underlying principle relating to karma sannyas and karma yoga. It is the ignorant, which here refers to mimamsakas, those of Jaimini, and not the wise men, that draw a distinction between Sankhya Yoga, or another name for karma sannyas, and karma yoga. Either of the systems, when rightly acted up to, will produce the same result. We heard yesterday that karma mimamsa, they think that karma can never end because they are not aware of liberation. And they also cannot understand that Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga are same. They will give same result. But when acted properly up to. Yat Sankhyai prapyate sthanam tat yoger apigamyate ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. That goal which is attained by the karma sannyasins is also attainable by the nishkama karma yogins. He who recognizes both karma sannyas and karma yoga as one is in the know of the underlying principles of both of them. Explanation. So both the principles of karma sannyas and karma yoga are essentially one and the same, differing only in nomenclature, means name, though there may be difference in degree as regards attachment to or detachment from action and its fruit. What is attained by the former by virtue of spiritual knowledge is also attainable by the later by pursuing nishkama karma. He who does not differentiate between them but recognizes them as one is in the know of the underlying principles of both of them. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukhamaptum ayogataha yoga yukta munir brahma nachirena dhigachati. O mighty armed, without nishkama karma yoga, karma sannyas or renunciation of action is difficult to attain. But a sannyasin who performs nishkama karma yoga ere long attains Brahman, means he will attain. It is the matter of like, first you will do one and get qualified for that one. Explanation. O mighty armed, karma tyak or karma sannyas, that is to say a renunciation of action divorced from nishkama karma yoga, is difficult to attain. But a yogin, that is to say a performer of nishkama karma yoga, not being attached to action and its fruit, his heart having been purified by the transcendental knowledge, ere long attains Brahman. He will attain that Brahman. When one purifies his heart, chitta shuddhi, by nishkama karma yoga, then he can do that, can attain the transcendental knowledge and can do that karma tyak or karma sannyas. And he will attain that Brahman. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, in explaining the Shikastaka first verse, Chetodarpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, he said that by Nama Sankirtan, the first effect will be you will get the fruit of doing this Nishkama Karma Yoga, Varna Ashram Dharma, because the result of properly following Varna Ashram Dharma without desire for the fruits, this Nishkama Karma Yoga, one will get Chitta Shuddhi, purification of heart. So one will get that by Nama Sankirtan. No need to separately do that. And in the second, he will get that Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam. The forest fire of material existence will be extinguished. That is liberation, that is mukti, that is gained by transcendental knowledge, by Gyan. That one can also get by Nama Sankirtan. No need to separately. And then further, one will get Shri of Kairava Chandra. He will get eternal welfare, that positive eternal welfare. So a devotee who awakened faith and is doing Shravan Kirtan, Nama Kirtan, he does not need to follow this. And he will get all what is attained by that more easily and with less trouble. He will get. But you have to do without offenses, with submission, with faith. You do. That is why there are many ways how to purify yourself and control anger and lust and like this. Many ways. And they will give some result. But if one already became a devotee, he awakened faith in Krishna and is having that faith, then for him it is best if he will only sincerely chant Harinam. By that practice he will get all results, all purifications, everything, and also positive devotion to Krishna. Yoga yukta vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvan api nalipyate. Gyanin, devoted to Nishkama Karma Yoga, possesses pure intelligence, pure mind, and self-control, and has identified himself with the soul of all other beings, and even performing actions is not entangled in them. Explanation. Yoga Yukta Gyanins, or Gyanins, devoted to Nishkama Karma Yoga, are of three classes, viz. The truly wise, the pure-hearted, and the self-restrained. The first is superior to the second, and second to the third in respect of spiritual progress. Each soul who has identified himself with the soul of all other beings and therefore is an object of universal love and adoration to him, though performing action, is not entangled by the action. They are seeing that spirit everywhere, in everyone. So they are identifying. They cannot differentiate. Both classes are there. Some, they cannot differentiate. They see only one spirit is there, and that spirit is divided by these material bodies, but actually it is one. So one who comes to that platform of transcendence, he does not hate anyone or want to hurt anyone. He has universal love for all, seeing that oneness. And then there are some who can see that the quality of me as a soul is the same as the quality of soul in another. He can see I am soul and he is also soul, but there is no difference. Both are same in quality, and supreme are those who realize the eternal relation with Krishna. His own eternal relation with Krishna and others' eternal relation with Krishna, and mutual relation with other souls in relation to Krishna. That is ultimate realization. And such a person cannot have any violence or hatred or anything to any living entity. Impossible for him. And he will have compassion for all and love for all. He will try to not only compassion in a material sense, like he's suffering some physical pain, so I should alleviate that. This is like Buddhists and Gyanis, they have such type of compassion. They want to remove these some material miseries, and they want to help them to attain liberation. That is their compassion to others. But devotees' compassion is he wants to inspire everyone to serve Krishna. That is real compassion, because that will give ultimate positive good, best what one can give. So himself, each soul who has identified himself with the soul of all other beings, he sees this equality in different ways of seeing equality. And all of them, they have universal love, but also it is of different type according to their level of realization, but there is no violence, no harm, no wish, no harm wishing, this, no malice. And such a person, though he does action, but he's not bound. Naiva kinchit karomiti yuktamanyata tatvavit Pashyan Shrivan Sprishan Jigran Ashnan Gachan Swapan Shwasan Pralapan Visrijan Grinan Unmishani Mishanapi Indriyan Indriyarteshu Vartanta Iti Dharayan. A Nishkama Karma Yogin, well versed in transcendental knowledge, thinks within himself thus: I do not do anything at all. It is the senses that move among the objects of their perception. Remembering this, he sees, hears, touches, smells, eats, moves, sleeps, breathes, speaks, eases, grasps, opens his eyelids, or shuts them. Explanation: a Nishkama Karma Yogin, whose mind has been purified by the fire of transcendental knowledge, and who is well aware of the slight distinction between Karma Yoga and Karma Sanyas, thinks within himself thus: I do not do anything at all, because he knows he is different from. I do not do anything at all. It is the senses that move among the objects of their perception. Whilst he sees, hears, touches, smells, eats, moves, sleeps, breathes, speaks, eases, grasps, opens, or shuts his eyelids. After due deliberation, he comes to this conclusion that he is a spiritual entity, a soul, quite independent of his body, mind, and senses, and that it is his physical senses that perform the physical feats. Enshrouded by avidya, ignorance, it is his perverted ego that is the author of those sensuous actions. This perverted egoism vanishes as soon as the transcendental knowledge dawns upon him by my grace. Like I gave example some time ago, there is one excavator to dig the hole, and some person is there inside controlling that, pushing button and with that joystick. So this is what he is doing, but he has no direct contact with the earth itself. That is the excavator, and that shovel and all, they have direct contact. So like that, one who got transcendental knowledge, he sees the difference. What is spirit, who I am, and what are these material all elements, and they are having contact with those things, not I, not directly. He is the director, and nothing can be done. If Atma is not present in the body cannot do anything. But directly, he is not involved in that. So the Jnani, he sees this difference clearly. He does not say, I am doing this. He sees one is instrument, one is I. But one who does not have transcendental knowledge, he will think I am doing everything. So that is because he misidentifies with this matter, so he thinks I'm doing, I'm doer. But that is not reality. So perverted ego, that is the author of those sensuous actions. But this perverted egoism, I'm the doer, vanishes as soon as the transcendental knowledge dawns upon him by my grace. Then he can clearly differentiate between matter and spirit, and who I am and who I am not. Atma and Anatma. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sa papena padmapatram ivambasa. Just as the leaf of a lotus floating on water remains unaffected by the water, so also he remains untouched by sin, who performs nishkama karma, dedicating its fruits to the Supreme Lord. Like that, Jiva also is not affected, although in the body, but not affected, and remains untouched. But that is, this realization is possible for one who performs nishkama karma, because this is prescribed by the Shastra, such proper action. Some people, they say you should not desire the fruits of your actions, you should not be selfish, but that is different. Like for any material activity, if someone tries not to be selfish, that is good, but it is not same. That will not liberate one, because that is not according to Shastra. One has to do according to Shastra, those activities prescribed by Supreme Lord according to your Varna and Ashrama. If you follow those actions and are not attached to the fruits, then transcendental knowledge will come. Otherwise, you will only have some material, like some good activities, less selfish, but still that is binding, and it is still part of this material world. Only those actions which are like the Buddhists, they want to like give up karma, selfishness. but they are not. They are getting some peace. Why? Because if you try to exploit others, then you will have to get reaction. Then you will be disturbed, suffering. But if you don't exploit, only do good, then you will have some peace, but not transcendental realization unless you do actions as given by Shastra. They're not accepting Vedic Shastra. So that is only moral atheism. But those who accept Shastra, they are theists. And they are doing that action that will give transcendental realization, eternal, that spirit. And one who realizes that, then he will be like a lotus floating on water and not being affected by water. Ayena manasa buddhya kevelair indriyair api kevalair indriyar api yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. In order to purify their minds, the Nishkama Karma yogins do their duties with body, mind, and intelligence, and also with their purified senses abandon all attachments for the fruits. All attachment for the fruits. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kama karena phale sakto nibadhyate. A nishkama karmin, by relinquishing all desires for fruitive actions, attains eternal peace, while a sakama karmin, means fruit seeker, gets entangled in karma owing to his selfish hankering after the fruits of his action. So one is nishkama, no desires, and one is sakama, with desires. One who has desires, he will be entangled because of that desire. But one who relinquishes all desires, he attains eternal peace. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukhambashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan nakarayan. Though outwardly performing all actions, the soul of a nishkama karmin, having renounced the fruits thereof, dwells peacefully and serenely in his body consisting of 9 portals. That is to say, he always remains unconcerned in his own actions as well as those of others. He dwells peacefully and serenely in his body because no other desires are there. So he is not entangled. Devotee also, he is always calm and serene because he sees nothing can happen without the will of Krishna. He is the well-wisher of all. We are reaping the fruits of our own actions, and it is for our own benefit. So he is always calm and serene, like Ambarish Maharaj. Though Durvasa Rishi wanted to kill him, but he was peaceful, knowing everything is happening by the will of Krishna, and it is for my good. Prahlad also and Haridas Thakur, they can see like that. Prahlad, he knows, even if you kill me, you cannot actually kill me. You can kill my body, but you cannot kill me. I am different from the body. And that, who I am, that cannot be killed. So one who is situated in that realization, not only knowledge, but realization, he has no fear and no problem in this. So the problem is our desires, worldly desires. Once we can give up worldly desires, then we are liberated. Then there is no more trouble. Trouble is not coming from others. I am the cause of my all trouble, no one else. As long as I have any separate desire, selfish desire, that is causing all problems. Others are only instrumental to give me reaction. So, but when one removes all tendencies for sense enjoyment, selfishness, and dedicates himself for the service of Krishna, by that he will destroy all his past karma and no more wrong tendencies, so there is no need of any punishment for him anymore. He already got the lesson, and he rectified himself by dedicating himself to Krishna. He has no trouble. Mukti pada sadaya bhag. So we cannot solve the problem outside. Problem is, I am the problem. It is within me. Those anarthas. And that can be removed by the help of bona fide devotees who will inspire me to serve Krishna. They will discourage me. Why you want those things? You see that is very attractive and you think it will give you pleasure. You will be happy, but it is not. It is illusion. That is Maya. So you give up that. You should not desire that. You should desire to serve Krishna. They will tell like that, and they will engage me in the service of Krishna. And the more I can engage myself in the service of Krishna, giving up all other desires gradually, like Ambarish Maharaj, focusing on Krishna and not having any other desires, the more you can remove those other desires, the more you can be free from all suffering and disturbance, and can be peaceful and happy in the service of Krishna only. There is no other way. We say, but we don't, means I don't act. That is the problem. Practical life gives fruit, not only lecture. And for practical life, we have to do it. And sadhus, they are there to encourage us, to help us. So that is also important. But they will not do instead of me. I have to do. But I will get inspiration and guidance how to do it by the help of sadhus and also shastra. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhuhu na karma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. The Supreme Lord is not responsible for the initiative of man, nor for his action, nor for the fruits thereof. But it is the man's nescience that prompts him to all this. This is very important verse to know. Supreme Lord is not responsible for the initiative of man. He never interferes in our relative independence about our choice, what we want to do. He is not responsible for that. We are responsible. We are choosing what to do. So he is also not responsible for action of that jiva, nor for the fruits. So we cannot blame Supreme Lord. Why I'm suffering? God is so cruel, I'm suffering. But He's not giving you that suffering. He's giving the fruits of your actions, of your choices. So, but it is the man's nations that prompts him for all this. When we are under the influence of Maya, then according to my conditioning, I want to do this for my happiness, or I don't want to do this, I want to all this. So that is prompting us. But that nescience is also not imposed on us. That is due to, I think it will come in next verse. But the thing is, Krishna is not responsible for our suffering. Na date kashya chit papam, na chaiva sukritam vibhu, agyane navritam jnanam, tena muhyanti jantavaha. Oh, sorry, I forgot to read the explanation to this 14th verse, previous one. A jiva has no freedom of action. Does not mean that the responsibility for a jiva's action, good or bad, lies on the Lord of the worlds. Had it been so, the Lord would have been accused of injustice and indiscretion. The Lord, therefore, is not responsible for man's desire for fruitive actions and the fruits thereof. It is jiva's onadi, that is to say, before the creation begins, nescience or backwardness in the worship of the Lord that is responsible for his actions in this world. So a jiva has no freedom of action means we have no absolute free will. Unless Krishna gives us power, we cannot do anything. And all those opportunities, everything. But that does not mean that he is responsible for everything. He gave us power to act. And how we choose to act, that is our responsibility. And when we become averse, or here it is said, backwardness in the worship of the Lord. We turn our back to Krishna, don't want to serve him, but want to enjoy that Maya. That was our choice. And it will remain our choice until we change it. It is always we are responsible. No one will change instead of us. I have to want to serve Krishna and not want other things. And when Gurudev said, when really you want the service of Krishna, only the service of Krishna, nothing else, immediately you will realize Krishna, immediately, because he's always there, always ready, and we can have contact with him only through service. We are blocking ourselves from getting darshan of Krishna because we don't want to serve him. He is not to be blamed. Why, Krishna, you are not giving darshan? He is always giving darshan. But we are not able to get because of our backwardness. Like sun is always shining, but if I turn my back to him, then how I can see him? So backwardness in the worship of the Lord, that is responsible for his actions. Jiva's anadi nescience, that ignorance from time immemorial or beginningless time. From time immemorial means we cannot remember now when we became averse to Krishna. We are unable to remember. That is immemorial. And literally anadi means without beginning. it has no beginning in this world. It has beginning on marginal plane, and that there is no this material time. So you cannot give any material time. That is why it is called onadi, beginningless. No beginning in this world. That was before entering into this world. We made that choice. So the Lord therefore is not responsible for a man's desire for fruitive actions. We desired, and the fruits thereof. We desired, we did this action, we are getting the fruits. No one is to be blamed. Nor Supreme Lord, nor Maya, nor any other living entities. My own action is responsible for my trouble. And only when I will change my action to proper action, I can be released from trouble. I cannot be released from trouble by changing others. Even if I succeed in changing others, still that will not remove my trouble, because I am the trouble. My selfish desire is the trouble, is causing me trouble. So no need to change others, no need to blame others, no need to change Supreme Lord or blame him. No, only we have to rectify ourselves, then no more trouble. But this is difficult, but not impossible. By Sadhu, Sangha and Shastra, we get encouragement to change ourselves. Then, this next verse, the Supreme Lord is not responsible for the virtue nor for the vice of a person. Since pure intelligence is now enveloped by nescience, people are apt to be infatuated by the three qualities of Maya. Explanation. The Lord is not responsible for the good or bad deeds of the jiva, whose normal nature is pure intelligence, which is now enveloped by his Maya. Infatuated by the three Maya qualities, owing to the forgetfulness of his real self and abuse of free will, he now identifies himself wrongly with his body and mind, and regards himself as the enjoyer or proprietor of his senses and sense objects. We abused our free will, not wanting to serve Krishna, who is our eternal master. That is offense, aparat. We wanted to enjoy Maya. That is why we forgot our real self by misidentifying with Maya, and we are infatuated by three qualities of Maya. And we think, I am the enjoyer, and I am the proprietor, I am master, so I can enjoy. It is mine, so I can enjoy. And it is mine, so I can give up. But that is all false ego. Nothing is ours. Everything belongs to Krishna. Even we ourselves are not ours. We do not belong to ourselves. We cannot claim sovereignty. No jiva can say, I am free, I am sovereign. That no. We belong to Krishna. No sovereignty. We have relative independence given by Krishna, not independently of him. He gave our existence, he gave freedom to act. And if we abuse, we invite trouble. If we properly use, we can be fully happy. And Krishna is not responsible for good or bad deeds of Jiva, whose normal nature is pure intelligence. Pure intelligence means I am of Krishna, I should serve him. That is pure intelligence. That is normal. But abnormal is when we abuse our free will and want to enjoy. That is unhealthy. And we have to come back to normal. Jnanena tu tat ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham aditya vajjnanam prakashayati tatparam. But the knowledge of those whose nescience has been destroyed by the supreme spiritual knowledge manifests the Supreme Lord as the self-effulgent sun. I think this is that verse which Gurudev likes, the translation of Srila Sai Maharaj. That, one second, I will see if this is the one. Translation. Yes, this is that verse which Srila Sai Maharaj's translation, our Guru Maharaj liked very much, likes. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which ignorance is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Here Gurudev explained that this is not intellectual knowledge, it is self-effulgent knowledge. It is self-revealing. You have to take his grace only, you have to submit, take his grace. Then when that will appear, then as sun reveals himself and simultaneously also all other things in proper perspective, then everything is seen properly. And here it is translated as, but the knowledge of those whose nescience has been destroyed by the supreme spiritual knowledge manifests the Supreme Lord as the self-effulgent sun. Means you will realize him. Explanation: knowledge is twofold, mundane and transcendental. Knowledge or experience that is acquired from the phenomenal world by the application of the senses is not wisdom, but ignorance or avidya. Transcendental knowledge is vidya or real wisdom. The Supreme Lord manifests himself as the supreme spiritual knowledge to them, whose age-long gloom of mundane knowledge or experience, that is empiricism, has been completely dispelled by the sunlight of transcendental knowledge. Again, the Supreme Lord manifests himself as the supreme spiritual knowledge to them, whose age-long gloom of mundane knowledge or experience has been completely dispelled by the sunlight of transcendental knowledge. He will see everything clearly as it is. By using the material limited senses, one cannot see as it is. This also we get by Nama Sankirtan. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyabadu Jibanam. The transcendental Vidya knowledge will manifest by chanting Harinam. Two types of knowledge, material and spiritual. One will realize Krishna and himself and all in relation to Krishna he will realize by Nama Sankirtan. One verse. Tad buddhayas tat atmanas tanishtas tat parayanaha gachanti apunar avritim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Those whose intelligence, mind and steadfastness have been focused on the Supreme Lord attain the blissful realm from where there is no return, their sins having been purged off by the light of transcendental knowledge. Tomorrow I will read the explanation of the 17th verse. So today we heard from 1st till 17th of 5th chapter.